In this video, we are going to be ranking my 5 most used lenses for my Fujifilm camera in 2024. I made a video similar to this last year and things have very much changed. Last year, I was shooting much more hybridly. I was taking both photos and videos throughout my year more consistently, but now this year it has been more photography, so this is how this has changed really. So most of the lenses that I'm talking about in this video are for photography. However, there is maybe 1 or 2 which is more hybridly used. So I'm just as interested to dive into this video as you are, because I get to review what I've used and how I've used it. This list will work from 1 to 5, 1 being the most used lens of the year and 5 in the top 5. So in at number 5 is the Fujifilm 18mm 1.4. I bought this lens in Japan and I was so excited to get hold of it. And I think for the next couple of months, while on my travels, I used it non-stop. After buying it in Japan, I then flew to Thailand and took it down to Phuket, PP. As you can see, all these photos here that I used it with this lens. The images I was getting out of them were superb, the sharpness, just a fab lens. One of my only really gripes about this lens really is the focus ring. It really is loose, and so is the aperture ring as well. For a very premium lens, this doesn't always feel that premium. I'd like a bit more taut in the rings, but the image quality, this is one of their best. However, lately, and why it sits at number 5 is because I've just not used it that much of recent. I did take it to Seoul in Korea and I used it a fair bit there, but I have been drawn more towards another lens, which we'll talk about soon. I really like this lens, I definitely recommend it, but like I said, not as premium as I thought and would like it to be. Okay, the 4th lens is the TT Artisans 27mm. I think this made the list last year, if I'm correct, and it could have come in 5th or 4th. So this lens has been a real treat. This was sent to me by TT Artisans. It's probably my favourite lens that has ever been sent to me because I've used it so much. It's so light and it's so inconspicuous. I mean, I have said every adjective you could possibly say about this lens. It's a mighty and incredible little lens. There's got a lot of character to it. What I love about it is I love it, but I don't care about it enough. Like if I lost my 18mm, which we were just talking about, I would be quite upset because it's a lot of money. This is not, you know, I'm not going to say it's cheap, but it's affordable. If I lost it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know, look at it, it's very thin. It's a nice pancake size kind of lens, and when I paired it with my X Pro 3 this year, it was a dream to just go around and shoot. I literally I used it in every country that I visited, and yeah, it just kind of would end up being in a camera bag or a pocket or something, and I just throw it on from time to time, and some of my favorite photos are taken with this lens. I know some people don't like the fall off, the vignetting in this, but it really is it's very good for its price. So a lens I want to recommend, and also a lens that happy I've got. Now the 3rd lens made it to my number 1 spot last year, and if you want to watch my video from last year, it is on my channel. You can watch it here. I'll put it here. But this came in at number 1. This now comes in at number 3, and I'll tell you why. It is the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8. Now I do use it a hell of a lot still. I use it a lot for vlogging stuff and things like that because it's great in low light. However, because I was away for like 6 months, I didn't take this lens with me because it is heavy and I'm not taking this around Asia with me. So it wasn't used as much as it was the previous year. This lens the previous year did every kind of video that I made, but this year not as much. I haven't taken that many photos with it. It's primarily my go-to video first lens, and if I'm using it for any kind of corporate client work, I still will use this because it's so good in low light. The drawbacks are it's just heavy. It's really heavy. So it's quite affordable for what it is. You do need an adapter, as I always say, which I have the Fringer EF FX Pro 2 adapter. No problems with that. Autofocus is a little bit sticky at times, and it can be a bit noisy. You can hear it pull and focus if you're working with it. But on the whole, it's made in Japan. It's a great lens, but this time it makes it to number 3. Okay, so this is a hard one, and this one only comes at second because I only bought it in May. So I haven't had it the whole year, but it's probably the lens that I've used the most as a photography first, and that is my 33mm f1.4 lens. God, I really love this lens. This is such a good lens, actually. All my favorite photos I've taken are with the 33. Its image quality is just fab. It's not the biggest lens in the world. It feels much more premium, and how it should feel on the 18mm. It's got much more tighter ring pull to it. Again, I bought this in Japan. From day one, I've just loved shooting with it. It's great in low light. You know, I really like this focal length. It's equivalent to 50mm. It's what the eye sees. It's been a great like POV type lens. And yeah, I can't say many more things about it because I think the photos speak for themselves. One of the reasons I feel like my photos have gone up a level recently is because of this ProMist filter. This is from Earth, and it is their ethereal 1/4 inch ProMist filter. I'm going to make a video about this soon, but this combination, really good, and I really can't recommend it more. But it did make it to number 1, and what made it number 1 is what I'm shooting on right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of a lens swap. So if you see a difference, that's why. Okay, so now filming on my Sigma 18-35 f1.8, but the lens that makes it to number 1 is the 16-55 f2.8. Now, I guess a couple of reasons why it makes it to number 1 is that I bought it back in February and I took it to Asia with me. It's the big reason why I didn't take the Sigma. It really did, I felt, up my level of photography. They call it the big bag of primes, and rightly so. I just love the images that you can produce with this lens. I did a lot of videoing with it this year. As you obviously can see that I used it for this. It's good in tight spaces because it's 16mm. It's still pretty heavy. There is a Mark II coming out, so this could knock this off the shelf. It's really been a beast. It's been a real workhorse. I love the linear motors because they're nice and quiet. Unlike, I don't know if you can hear, the Sigma, but you know, that's a bit frustrating sometimes. It's not obviously fantastic in low light, and it doesn't have any OIS, but neither does the Sigma. But I love how this sits on the XH2S. Really does feel it better. The reason I guess it gets number 1 is it is more of a hybrid lens, and I've used it for video and photo. If you are looking for, you know, a hybrid sort of lens, I would recommend this. But maybe if you've got the money, you've got the budget, hang out for the Mark II, because that looks good. It looks a lot smaller. You know, there's some extra features on there which I really like. This is great, but again, heavy old beast. Maybe think about that before purchasing the Mark I, but you might like it heavy. Also, another great trait of this is that this is weather resistant, and I was really conscious about taking it around parts of Asia and Japan, example. I actually did a shoot with it yesterday where we were in full rain, and it just held up beautifully. I think it's really good to have a completely weather sealed lens, and yeah, this is the one for me. So look, they are my 5 most used lenses of 2024. I'll be very interested to see what I'm working with in 2025. So yeah, maybe I'll keep this as a continuing theme for each year. I love going through a video like this and making me think what tools were best for my work. So yeah, look, what were your 5 most used lenses for this year? Love to know. Maybe I can take some notes from you. Drop them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. God bless.